That is the thing that is most tragic about this heartbreaking situation with this war, is that it could have been avoided. If President Biden and NATO had done exactly what you were just talking about in agreeing, hey, we're going to take NATO off the table for Ukraine, something that both the U.S. and NATO have agreed is not likely to ever happen, and something that is a legitimate security concern for Russia.
Recently exposed FEC records show that an alleged Russian agent operating for political influence inside of the US in the end donated to only one campaign for president in the 2020 election, that is Tulsi Gabbard, with some interesting wrinkles that we're gonna get into. So this agent is a dual Russian-American national, Elena Branson. She stands accused of illegally pushing pro-Russian policies in the US for nearly a decade at the direction of top Kremlin officials without registering under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Like, you could do that, but you do have to actually register. It makes it a little bit easier to understand where you're coming from, which is why many have not. This is not the only agent who has operated, and not just for Russia, but understand that. Now, her work, the complaint about her said her work on behalf of the Russian government, including arranged meetings for herself and other Russian officials with US government officials and executives at businesses based in the US. Authorities say that she received funding and direction from the Russian government, including the country's embassy in Washington, and received tasks from high-level Russian government officials and government-run organizations. Now, as we said, one donation in 2020, it was to Tulsi Gabbard, but with the potentially interesting and important caveat that it was for $60. And not even in one $60 lump. I mean, you can see there it comes across in two separate, $50 and $10. Why?
Yeah.
What, like, if the goal is influence, based on my experience of donations, that doesn't buy you much directly. So
yeah.
So why?
I have a theory. So first, those are the facts. When we get into theories, of course, it's by definition a little bit of speculation, right? So we're always clear about that. Now, it's so curious why. Anybody reading the story has to think, why? Why $49.95 and $10? What the hell? Like, that's not gonna matter at all. So there's a bunch of other possibilities. So one is that it's a signal. When she donates, it signals others to donate, right? Because otherwise, why give a comically low number? And did Tulsi get donations from other people that are known not as Russian spies, but decidedly pro-Russian in their commentary publicly, etc.? Yes, she did. She got thousands from them, okay? But even so, it wasn't a spectacular number. So then you have to wonder, and look, Tulsi now is pretty much given up the game. Like, before, there was a lot of subterfuge. There was, oh, I'm a progressive, but God, if you're killing Muslims in Syria, I'm kind of here for it, right? And we were like, whoa, she likes the torture, she likes the drone bombs and the special forces and anything where you attack Muslims, she's totally in. So there was warning signs. We picked up on those warning signs. We were the first to tell you about that. Now she's at the point where she's just like, I can't believe what the Ukrainians are doing to poor Putin, right? So there's no subtlety left anymore at all. And anyone who isn't brain dead knows that she's obviously partial to Putin's government. So $60 isn't what led to that. And so I don't know if there was dark money. I don't know in terms of her campaigns. I don't know if there's just flat out money. Now, the money we do know about, it comes through some legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate sources, as in it's not illegal. Like, so when she goes on Tucker Carlson and says, oh, my daddy Putin is just the best of the best, and Tucker Carlson agrees, oh, yeah, high five on Putin. Then she gets a lot of right-wing grassroots donors to her different ventures that she's doing on right-wing websites, right? So that's a lot of people play that game, the Jimmy Dores, the gray zones, etc. And they're getting presumably organic money from right-wingers for liking Putin so much. But this was during when she was in office. Man, this part I don't know at all. But if there was, somebody should keep digging, because there could be more money that we're not seeing, because Tulsi and the others are not a little like, oh, well, you know what, NATO expansion was too much. That's a legitimate point, right? Oh, I don't know that we should have pushed so hard in before the war. No, Zelensky said we don't have to be in NATO. He basically conceded in that regard, and it was right to. I think it was content-wise, substantively, it was right. Strategically, it was right. But at that point, there was no reason for Putin to go in, and he went in anyway. He clearly had planned to do this invasion all along. Those facts are not in dispute. And the Tulsis of the world are like, no. I think the Ukrainians made him do it, and America made him do it. Putin's, that's so not subtle that it's impossible not to inquire further into what in the world would make you say such outrageous and patently false things.